You're listening to the Christian Indie Artists and Songwriters podcast, the place where faith, music, and life intersect. We exist to help Christian indie artists and songwriters just like you get songs heard. Hey, wanted to thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Christian Indie Artists and Songwriters podcast. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're having a great week, and we're excited to deliver another episode full of value and content. So let's jump right into the episode. So today I wanted to talk about the principle of the lowest hanging fruit. So what is the principle of the lowest hanging fruit? Well, I'm glad you asked. So it's essentially that you are going to set your sights, put your goals on the most easily attainable and reachable things, the things that are right in front of you. So I know that there's definitely a lot of us, myself included, who look up at the tree, this metaphorical tree, and say, hey, I want the shiny, giant, perfect apple that's like 500 feet up there because it looks like it's the best apple on the tree. However, there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of things that might be holding you back and might be in the way of that goal of yours. The big, giant goal is fully attainable, and you will get to it one day. However, you have to be willing to put in the patience, you have to be willing to put in the perseverance, and I feel that's what equals success. So this principle has actually been tough for me to grasp, pun intended, because I, like everyone else, look to that thing at the top, and I want that first because I don't want to wait. Waiting is not fun, waiting is difficult, and waiting can really wear you out. But that's what this whole idea of the principle of the lowest hanging fruit is all about. So the first thing I wanted to say about this is that I feel it's very logical. Even though it's a metaphor and is very whimsical, perhaps, this idea of basically grabbing what's right in front of you is really logical. For one, it requires the least amount of effort. So if you wanted to grab something that's across the room, you have to get up, walk over there, grab it. It may not take a lot of effort, but it takes some. But if you're going to grab something that's right next to you, it takes literally no effort. So that would be a great example of the lowest hanging fruit. Also, talking about in terms of a journey, as you go, if you're grabbing the things that you can reach, you're replenishing your energy. You're building up your stamina. Because if you go too long without eating, you get tired, you get weak, and you probably will give up. But if you're constantly grabbing for the things that are right in front of you, then you will have the energy to propel you to the next thing. And the last thing I wanted to mention about the practicality of this principle is that when you're really focused on achieving your small goals, you stay undistracted. And who knows if that's a word, but you know what I mean. Undistracted, because, I know that for me and in our journey, when we're looking at the giant goals that are way down the road, maybe months or years away, that's the times where we feel the most depleted and defeated. It's when we're constantly moving in small incremental waves, we call them. We say, as we're riding the waves, it's so much easier to stay focused and stay positive and keep momentum because you're not getting so wrapped up in all the things you don't have. You're getting wrapped into the things that you are gaining. And to kind of go into that idea of being undistractable, I think one of the things that I hear a lot of people talk about when it comes to their music journey and something that kind of holds them up is the idea of the comparison game. And it's really easy, especially when you are maybe stuck in a slow season, or maybe you're not hitting the goals you wish that you were. You kind of look to your left, look to your right. You go on Instagram or Facebook and you see all these people that their highlight reel that, wow, look at how amazing they're doing. And man, I wish that were me. But I think that the lowest hanging fruit is a great remedy for this problem because, like I just mentioned, as you're hitting your attainable goals, you don't have time to really focus on the negative because smaller goals come faster. Smaller goals are something that's it's readily available and it's not out of your reach. So you don't really have the time or the energy to worry about what other people are doing because ultimately they're hitting their own goals. So focusing on other people's things is not really something that's going to help us in any way. And I would say too, a lot of times we look at the big goal, we look at our heroes, we look at the Grammy Awards, we look at the big cuts, we look at, the tours and all the great posts and the photo shoots and whatever we might be, looking at other people. But we have to remember that everybody starts at zero. Those people, there's no such thing as an overnight success. And if there is, those are the type of things that don't last for very long. We're trying to build a long-lasting, sustaining career here. And so by achieving goals that we set to keep us positioned to keep moving upward is the best way to go. And it'll keep the idea of the comparison game out of our world, because I've heard it said that comparison is the killer of creativity. So that means that we don't want it anywhere near what we're doing. We can celebrate the wins of our peers and our friends, and that's amazing. Encourage them. But honestly, only paying attention to other people's wins sometimes is just going to bring you down. And I think an overarching theme with all of this is the idea of gratefulness and thankfulness. So everything that we have, we can look to God and thank Him for. And that humble heart, that thankful heart will literally erase any type of negative feeling. I mean, it's honestly something that I've put to the test for myself in my own life, is if I'm feeling, now it's not always easy, let me add that in, but if I'm feeling down or depressed or anxious or, whatever the negative emotion may be, if I start thanking God for the things that I have, those negative feelings go away. I feel that gratitude and negativity cannot coexist. So that obviously applies here to the lowest hanging fruit. As we are taking our small steps towards our ultimate goal and thanking God and being grateful for each one of those things, then our momentum and our positivity will continue to propel us forward. Every opportunity that we have that we've been given is a gift, and that looks different for each of us. Some of us, the low-hanging fruit could be doing a co-write. It could be recording a first demo into our DAW. It could be booking a show. Whatever it might be, it looks different for all of us, but at the end of the day, those are all gifts that God's putting in our path to help us move into the next thing. So being grateful and approaching each of those things with a humble heart is the way that will continue to make us understand and move forward as we grab the lowest hanging fruit in our personal journey. So something that I think about a lot, and I'll probably say a million times in the podcast, is this equation that I made that basically says patience plus perseverance equals success. And I feel like the lowest hanging fruit idea speaks directly to that, because patience is something it's worth waiting for. It's a fruit of the Spirit. Obviously, it's a really important part of being a human being. Perseverance is the grit. It's the drive. It's the thing that keeps us moving. It's the passion that, God placed in us to share these songs or whatever, we're doing in our lives. And success obviously is defined differently for each person. But the idea that we're willing to wait, and while we're waiting, we're still moving forward. We're still persevering. We're still taking those actionable goals and making them happen. That is what ultimately will equal success for us in our career. I just really wanted to take some time to encourage everyone listening that there's things that you could be doing right now that will help you move forward in your music journey, your music career. They may seem small, they may seem insignificant, but at the end of the day, all of those things add up. I always say every stream counts. Well, every goal counts. Every relationship counts. Every conversation counts. And all of these things will stack up over time to become huge. But I just feel the people that are willing to put in the time, they're willing to wait, to be patient, to persevere, and to grab each piece of low-hanging fruit are the ones that will continue to sustain, because you'll have the energy, you'll have the momentum, you'll have the focus, and you'll have all the things you need, because too, as you're gaining all of these things as you go, you're learning so much. And everything you do, you have those skills, those experiences in your pocket so that you can bring those into the next thing, and it compounds in such an incredible way. So think about that. What are some things right now as you sit or drive or whatever you're doing, think about what could you do today that is right in front of you that maybe you don't even think matters. But what could you do today that would possibly help your career move along? Open your note in your phone and speak to text a verse of a song. That way you know you wrote something today. Or go into your DAW and make that mix tweak, or send that direct message through Instagram, whatever it might be, something so small, but it all adds up over time. So I just wanted to encourage you with that. The lowest hanging fruit is really a powerful thing. I hope that encourages you today. I believe in you. So think about that. What's the lowest hanging fruit? And go grab it. We want to help reach as many Christian indie artists and songwriters as possible, and one way we can do that is with your help. So if you could take a minute and leave us a review on iTunes, that would be so appreciated. This is how the iTunes algorithm will push this content out to more and more Christian indie artists and songwriters. So like I said, if you could just take a couple seconds, leave us a review, that would be so awesome, means so much to us, and we would really appreciate it.